Hello everyone, this is Dawn and welcome back to Crafting with Maggie. Oh my goodness, it has been a day. So I should have had this video up on my channel earlier today, and I was working on the tutorial the last couple of nights and it actually really was not cohesive, and then I ended up deleting a piece of it that I needed. So I was getting off of work, which by the way, I am back and working. So for now anyways, it's kind of like a day by day, seeing what is happening in the world. I am in the healthcare industry, so yeah, just going along one day at a time. So I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. This is another video for Crafting with Maggie, which is a collaboration that I am doing with Brandy, who is Left-Handed Crafter, and Carla, who is Unique Whimsy. And so definitely check out those ladies. They will be linked in the description box below. So I got off at work at 4 today, and I was going to come home and get this video done. Well, I decided to stop at the grocery store tomorrow, or tonight, on my way home from work, since I know Saturday it's so busy, so I really was trying to avoid going tomorrow, and I needed to get some things for my mom. And oh my goodness, that was a little bit of an experience. And when I got home, I just felt so gross. So I got a shower, and then my son picked us up some food. And then I've just been sitting here FaceTiming with my family. So I want to get this video up. So this week we are coming to you with an altered book. So I shared this altered book that I shared this last week. I was originally going to use this as the brag book that I shared, but then I decided I was going to make the brag book much more simple, which was Carla's idea, and she said it should be something more simple, and I'm like, oh, you're absolutely right. So I like to do altered books, and when I've done them, this is a different twist, I guess I should say, on the way I've done them in the past. So there is a video that I will link in the description box below. I think I shared it last week as well. So it is Maggie Holmes herself on, I think it's a video by scrapbook.com, and she was sharing a mini album, which she really altered a book, and I just loved the organic feeling of it. So I did the cover. This is it was like a vintage Hispanic yoga book, and I just loved the green cover, and of course I love green. It's my favorite color. So I've got a few books here that I'm going to show you with green covers that I found at a thrift store. So you need a book that's either from the Dollar Tree or something thrifted that you don't mind taking apart and altering it into something else. So I did, of course, it's a Maggie Holmes challenge, so I've used Maggie Holmes papers that I have offset here. I've got some cheesecloth, and I just love this peacock theme. I've got a little sticker up here, use some chipboard, and this paper is offset a little bit. So Maggie Holmes, the way she did her book, and this is a smaller size book, so these pages on the inside don't flip as well, but normally pretend that these are your pages in your book. So normally when you do an altered book, you've got to remove pages to make room for the things you're going to add. So if this was one of the pages of the book and this was a page of the book, well, all these things here inside that were ripped out, normally I would hide all of this messiness inside of 2 pages and then decorate on top of those pages. Well, here this embraces the messiness of tearing out those pages, and you can just kind of see it, and I really like how it looks. So there are pages that I tore out, and then I left a little bit longer and tore other pages, about 5 of them together, and you leave them a little longer because this is where you're going to adhere your scrapbook paper to. And then you can see these pages were ripped out. This section was left longer than that. You can actually see this is where I ripped these out, and then this is the length of these where I did the ripping, and you can see where the paper is sandwiched. There's a front and a back, and then so forth and so on. So this is the one I've created so far, and like I said, this is a smaller book. It's only like a 5x8, so there's not as much give to this one. So I want to decorate it this at some point. I think I used flourish mostly for this book. I may have used other things as well. So I do want to do some decorating with this, but I wanted to come back and do a larger book, and I have done so. So this one, I had these two books, and I like that they're a little more square, and they are approximately a little larger than a 7x9. So I liked that they were a little wider book. So I have done the treatment here. So I've already selected my papers, and for this book, I have used the Sunny Days collection, and I just love it. So I've done the same treatment here, and these pages turn a lot better because there's a little more space in here with this bigger book. So I've done the same treatment. I've got pages ripped out, and then the longer ones, and you can see it when I take you to the end here. You can see where the shorter pages are ripped out, and then the longer ones where we have attached the scrapbook paper. So I've just used the Sunny Days. So this first page, this is about an 8.5 by about 6 1/4. So this one here I think is my largest page, and I just measured the book pages themselves. Again, this is about a 7x9. So, and you can make all different sizes. So I just kind of did some of them like 5x7, this one here, and I didn't even plan it out. I just decided to do smaller. Yep, this one is a 7 by, yep, that one's about a 7 by maybe 5 1/4. I just did different sizes. I didn't even plan on anything. So, oh, I love this page. So you can see where the pages are ripped out. So now something that is a personal preference. So this is this first group of pages that is ripped out, and I went ahead and glued this together. And then where this longer page, the longer parts where I've got the scrapbook paper attached, I went ahead and glued those two to give them some stability to where I'm attaching the scrapbook paper. And then these ones here, I decided, well, do I want to glue them together so they can be a little more organic and flowy, which is fine. So I think it's a personal preference whether you want to glue these pages together or not. I think Maggie Holmes did glue them, and then these ones here, like I left, but I actually think that I probably will go back and glue them together. So let me show you how I actually did this. And if you want like a specific number of pages in your book, you'll need to do probably a little bit of math, which, oh, my head is not in a position to do any math right now. But let me show you. I took, I tried to do a tutorial. Well, I actually did do a tutorial, but it wasn't coming all together. So this book here, I practiced on before I actually did this, that book. So what Maggie Holmes showed, she actually used like an X-Acto knife. So I tried that method. I had a piece of cardboard that I stuck in here, and I went ahead and used the X-Acto knife, and it's a lot cleaner edge, and maybe you like that, but I think I decided that I like the torn edges better. So to do this, and again, you can see Maggie Holmes's link in the description box below, but I'm going to do the very same treatment on this book as I did on really both of the other books. So when you open the cover, this first page here, you will see that this inside paper, it covers, it is all one piece of continuous paper from here, and this is not a separate sheet, it is just glued in, and you don't want to cut this because it holds the integrity of your book. And then the second page here as well, it just kind of, you can see that these kind of go together. So what I'm going to do is actually end up gluing these two pages together, and that is exactly what I did in this book. So here was the inside of the cover. This is one continuous page, and then this was the second page, and I went ahead and glued them together. And I think eventually I will end up covering these, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. So you definitely want to leave these first two pages, and you can even leave more pages if you want. It's your preference. So what I did is I took, actually I used this ruler, and then I put a piece of cardboard in here, and I just used this for my measuring, which is about, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then I just used the X-Acto knife and took out 10 pages. So I counted the 10, and then I counted 5 pages, and I used a tear ruler. I have a We Are Memory Keepers tear ruler, and oh my goodness, Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to use this tear ruler. If you didn't have this, and I got this a Tuesday morning a little while back. It had 3 different ones, but I see folks, Gail Agostinelli and other folks, I think this is a really great tool. So, anyways, I used my ruler here to cut out the smaller part, and basically what I did is this is 10 pages, and then the part where I'm going to add the scrapbook paper to is 5 pages. And then here I ripped out another 10 pages. This one here, I'm going to rip out 5 pages. So I'm going to show you the process of what I did. This here is, so I probably want about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So I've got enough space to add my scrapbook paper. So I've just got this placed in here. And I'm going to rip out 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there I can add my scrapbook paper, and then this next section I'm going to tear out 10 pages. This is exactly how I started this book. So I'm going to use this ruler and hold it here and do 10 pages out. 1, 2, and see how they're torn in here. I'm not bothered by that at all. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't have very much room here on my desk. 9 and 10. And then I'm going to go back and do another 5 pages. So now maybe you didn't have that tear ruler. So maybe if you didn't, you can use, because you need just about double this size to make the portion where your scrapbook paper is going to be. So if you didn't have that tear ruler, you could actually do the measure by, where this part is and putting your ruler next to that part and then tearing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is also a good measure, and you can see that this is a little bit longer, but my scrapbook paper is going to be on it, so I'm perfectly fine with that. You won't necessarily see that. And so forth and so on. So this one here, I only got 8 pages out of this book. I'm not sure how many that will be, but that is exactly the method that I did for this. When I get to the end, I'll keep doing 10, 5, 10, 5. When I got to the end of this book, after I did my 10, 5, 10, 5, so I did my 5 here, and then there were only 3 pages left, which was perfectly fine, and I went ahead and glued them together. And then this is that back cover and that last page. Like I said, I'll end up covering those. So that is really the simple process of how I did this. And then I just cut down the papers based on the size of my book. And you do have to work a little bit to make sure when you glue these papers in that you've got them lined up properly. Now, Maggie Holmes liked to decorate hers individually before she put them in, and she actually used her sewing machine and did stitches and things like that. You would, if you could ink your pages, ink the edges of your pages up before you put them in. So there are some decisions you might want to make. I decided I wasn't going to ink up my pages to begin with, but I might end up doing that, which might make it a little bit more difficult in some of the areas, or not. But I really love this format of altered book, and I hope you give it a try. Maggie's video will be linked in the description box below. I really think it's really simple and fun, and I think it just looks amazing. I think she called it a mini album. So we're gonna come back the next few weeks and do some decorating in our book. So this is really the getting started for this particular method. So if you have any questions, let me know in the description box below. I do read every comment. I've been terrible about responding back lately, but I definitely read every comment, so I definitely want to do a little bit of catch up. I hope everyone is doing well. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. I know it's a little bit long-winded. Everybody have a really great weekend. Give us a thumbs up, and until next time.